Hey everyone, recently I've had a lot of discussions about reading diversely and critically in the comments, and in the last few days the topic of reviewing critically came up. So I have a lot of questions there that I don't really know how to answer, so I thought I'll put them out there to you. Let's start with reading diversely. You know that I'm all for reading diversely, branching out, reading outside of our box, because if we read about people that are not like us, we can learn about the world and we can learn about others, and it helps us understand others more. I'm all for reading diversely. And when we started talking about reading diversely, it was more looking at how do I read? How can I change that? I want to branch out more and looking at ourselves. But lately I have the feeling it's more like it's our responsibility. We have to read diversely. We need to do that to support the authors, to support others, to, educate others. And I'm not sure what I think about that, because for me, reading diversely is something I want to do. It's something that comes from inside of me that I'm interested in. But I also know that I'm not interested in mystery thrillers like Gillian Flynn. You can tell me no matter how often that Gone Girl is the best book in the world. I will not read it. And I think that is the same with reading diversely. If I'm just not interested in something, I think we cannot force people to read it. And lately it sounds like we want to force people to read diversely instead of giving them the option and making it interesting for them. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one who feels like that, but for me it's rather off-putting of reading diversely than supporting it. When it comes to reading critically, I'm all for that too. But I do have to admit I read literary fiction more critically than I read the latest dystopian YA novel or romance novel or a fantasy fic. I really don't read every book the same critical way. And when it comes to reviewing critically, I have noticed lately that I think I'm reviewing a little less critical, and I tend to like less critical reviews lately. And I think it's because the more critical analysis I get in the review, the more it spoils the book for me. So I'm all for viewing critical analysis of a book that I've read and of something that I'm interested in to hear what other people think. But when I haven't read the book, I don't want to know too much. Usually I even skip most of the summary that people give. And when it comes to reviewing critically, I think it's the same question that I have with reading diversely. Why do we want to decide how other people review? I like my reviews to be a little bit more like, why do I like the book? Why didn't I like the book? I like to talk about what moved me in the book. I like to watch reviews that do the same, that not only say like, oh, this book is amazing, but that's it. I like to watch that. So I don't watch the people who just say, I love this book or I love that book, or who have a completely different taste to mine, because that doesn't help me. And that is what I think is more part of the discussion here. It's like that we try to tell others what to read and how to read it. And why do we think we can do that? Why do we think we can force others to do things differently than they do? If we don't like what they read or how they read, just don't watch them. So you can see I have a lot of questions, and I can only see my own perspective on this. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm thinking wrong, and you need to tell me that I need to look at it differently. But for me it all boils down to, I don't like what you do, so change it, instead of I don't like what you do, but it's okay for what you want to do, then continue. Tell me in comments, I'm lost.